Now, I noticed Danny Boy the other day was live. I thought I'd pop in and say hi and hit him with a question. That question was, how does a circling sun in Antarctica prove the physically impossible globe Earth? I was curious from a psychological point of view how Dan would respond to such a question. Because we all know the globe Earth is physically impossible. So how would he respond, being the online globe's top boy? How do you think he's going to respond? Well, let's have a look.
Is that the real Elio in the chat? I think it is the real Level Earth Observer in the flat. In the chat, how does a 24-hour sun Antarctica prove a physically impossible globe Earth? Well, Level Earth Observer, as you're not a flat earther, as you keep telling me, it's difficult to answer that question to you because most flat earthers who subscribe to the model of the ice wall going around the outside, it is impossible to have a 24-hour sun in that model. But because you are not a flat earther and you probably don't subscribe to that model, it's difficult to sort of explain that to you in a way that you'll accept.
What you're saying is, Dan, you can't refute demonstrable reality, which proves the globe Earth's physically impossible, which is why you have no answer to someone like me. And in doing so, you've kind of highlighted the template at play and the big push in December, what ultimately is going to be laid out there. Because Dan, to prove his physically impossible globe Earth, needs another concept to attack and debunk. In this case, it would be a circling sun above a certain map, which has been promoted by certain people. That's how Dan proves and justifies to himself his physically impossible globe Earth. But when he deals with a demonstrable realist, he's left with admitting his globe Earth is physically impossible, and to prove his globe Earth, he requires concepts of another type to refute and debunk. And in doing so, in his mind and the general public's as well, because of the psychology at play, they somehow believe they've changed reality and proved a physically impossible globe Earth. Look what the education system has done to the general public, globe top boys, representatives online included. Scary, isn't it? Seeing the psychology at play, the defense mechanisms at play here, all because someone told us something. People on a daily basis are spewing out all sorts of delusional pantomimes to try and justify it, when all you really need to do is just stand by what is. And in doing so, the pain and suffering comes to a very abrupt ending. Do it. Stand by what is, and all of this ends. No one can answer the question how a circling sun in Antarctica proves a globe, physically impossible globe Earth. They can't. Because everyone can prove the globe Earth is physically impossible. I can't wait for the observation to be done. I think I know what they're going to see, which makes this realm even more fascinating and just shows we've all been had. That's what I believe. Don't get me wrong, there's a huge propaganda piece coming in December, as many suspect. But I think what they're going to see is going to blow a few people away. And a few people won't be prepared for it. You should be. It just adds to the simplistic truth of this realm. And it is an observation. Whatever happens within the sky will never change the physicality of the Earth. You can't go for a concept or a model. And I don't even think it's going to be possible to map the ground and match that with what goes on in the sky. I just don't think it is. The globe Earth people will go, we've got a model that matches the sky. You have, that's right. You've got a model that's built what goes on in the sky. The problem is that model has no physicality to raise it above the level of model and bring it into the realms of reality. None. In fact, all those physical demonstrations out there, as I keep saying, as we can all prove, highlight to us all that globe is impossible. Everyone's got to come together, despite beliefs. You've got to let go of the biases, and we've got to stand by what is, because this place is far more mystical, magical, whatever you want to call it, mechanical, however you want to describe it, than what we've been taught, as many of us are finding out as the years go by. Anyway, just wanted to show the psychology at play with the mainstream, people like Simon Dan, highlighting the defense mechanisms that come out. To prove his physically impossible globe Earth, he needs a concept to attack and debunk. He can't prove it with any kind of physics, which of course we know that's the case anyway. Have a good one.